Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Retro Card Fantastic Four Wave Human Torch. This is the standard release. We already looked at the one where he had the suit on. That was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. This is the one you can find everywhere. They were everywhere for a while. I've had these for a little while, but I'm just now finally getting around to reviewing them. But this guy, in some ways, is like the best one ever. And in other ways, it's not as good as it might otherwise have been, but it's still a pretty strong release. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. And this guy stands just shy of 6.5 inches to the top of the head, not including the flames, because that's not part of his scale. And that's going to put him at somewhere between 16 and 16.5 centimeters. So pretty much your standard size. We've seen this mold a ton of times, and for the most part, it looks pretty good. The individual sculpting is pretty good. We do still have some weird issues. In fact, I'll go ahead and throw a Photoshop on there for you guys real quick, just so that you can see how easy it would be for these to look even better. But this is one of their better molds despite its flaws, so that's a good thing they chose for this guy. I think it suits the character well. We'll get into the other stuff in a minute, but first let's do a quick question of the day. As far as collecting goes, are you more about getting the flame-on version or the suited version? For me, it's all about that right there. I want the flame-on version. I don't care what he looks like when he's not using his powers, because he's not a superhero, practically speaking, if he's not using his powers. So I like this. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. I love the choice of the molded translucent reddish-orange plastic. I think it looks great. It looks very dark red sometimes, and when the light catches it, it turns a lot brighter. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but to the naked eye, it looks really good. I do think they missed out on putting a lot more of the black lines on there. Like when they draw him like this, he's got a lot of those black lines. And on here, it's like they were trying to save paint. Don't know what happened there. That's a bit irritating, but it still does look pretty good. I will say, I really don't like that they painted the flames on the head and the arms and hands opaque. It's glossy, so it helps a little bit, but it shouldn't have been that. It should have not been painted at all, other than hit with like a translucent yellow from an airbrush. That's all. It doesn't look the way it should. It looks better than it could have since it's super glossy, that helps, but it definitely would have looked better to not have opaque fire, because fire, believe it or not, is not opaque. That just does not look anywhere near as good as it could have. For instance, this, even though it's particularly milky and not as good as it could have been, something more along the line... Get on there. How does it go? Get on there. Something more along the lines of that for the head would have been way better. So if they weren't going to do a separate piece, just hit it with a little bit of yellow from an airbrush. That would have helped, because that looks so much better than the painted fire. That looks bad. And then the eyes, you don't really see them too much. They're not well painted. They're gold. Not great. I think they need a black line around them and some bright yellow. We don't have any bright yellow. Look at this. Look, that's the source material from the packaging. And then that's the figure. We don't have any bright yellow. So a little bit of airbrushing would have gone a real long way on this. I love the plastic they used. And the black paintwork is good where it is, but it's not enough. And we definitely should have had better painted flames on his arms and head, because that throws off the look of the figure a lot. Otherwise, it's pretty good looking. I definitely like it. And the whole Photoshop thing is just to show you how much better it could look if they made better molds. But this one is one of their better ones, so I'll give them that. So I do like it overall, aesthetically speaking. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. That reddish-orange plastic really, really tickles my fancy. So, all right, let's talk about accessories. We do have the fist hand with fire and the open hand with fire that come on him in the package. Then we get 2 basic fist hands. That's fine. We get the piece of fire that snaps onto his back, sort of. It doesn't really stay on, and I don't know. I guess it's okay. It's fine. I don't know. I think we need more fire if we're going to have the fire effects, because he's like normally covered in fire, you know? Like a lot. And we don't have anything but the back. And it doesn't match the arms, so it throws it off. If we had more bits like this that kind of snapped on down the arms, that would be great. Like a nice silhouette of flames. That would be awesome. Now we don't have that, so that's a bummer. It doesn't even match with the head. But we do get the little swirlies that are now the new effect part that every figure gets. They're okay, they're kind of milky. I don't even know what you're going to do with them, because the arms already have fire built into them. And it doesn't match these. So I don't get it. This is weird. Whoever decided to paint the arms ruined the figure in a lot of ways, because even the accessories don't work now, which are actually decent accessories. They have nice shading on them. Very strange. Accessory-wise, 7 out of 10. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. The painted parts on here hold the figure back so much. Weird decision. Like, the one time adding paint wasn't a good idea, they did it. Why? Oh my goodness, why? Okay, let's talk about the articulation. Standard hinge for the neck. You can see the head is sitting a little bit high on that ball peg. He can look straight up and disconnect his head from his neck. Look straight down, disconnect the head from the neck. So it's definitely a little bit high. Again, I'll show you the Photoshop. Really, the head wouldn't be too high if the shoulders weren't too low and small. So you'll see. Anyway, you get the rotation there. You get the attitude a little bit. It's all right. Shoulders have a really nice butterfly joint. This is one of the best butterfly joints they've done. You can see you can bring the shoulders all the way back and pretty far forward. So that's pretty good. The shoulders themselves, with a little bit of force, can go almost horizontal. You do get your full rotation. Bicep swivel, again, the shoulders are smaller than the biceps and triceps, so that does hurt the look of the figure a lot. And it actually hurts the posability. A little bit of a bummer there. So bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Not going to get too much better than 90 degrees thanks to the sculpted flames on there, so that's kind of a bummer. The wrists do have a swivel and a hinge. That's pretty standard. Ab crunch on this guy, if memory serves, is the pregnant kind. Yeah, it doesn't go that far back, and he does get a little bit of that weird pot belly situation going on. But it's not particularly bad on this guy. He does lean forward nicely, so that's good. Waist twist is obviously going to twist. The hips go out to the side, better than 45. Well, that's about 45 degrees, I'd say, so that's all right. I'll take it. Going forward, they kick out to the side, but they do get up high enough, so that's pretty good. Nice kick there. They don't really go back too far. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee works nicely. You do get a shin swivel, which I'm not in love with, especially since it's at an angle, but it is a relatively seamless one. The sculpt is flush, so that's okay. Yeah, it's all right. Ankles go all the way back. That's good. And far enough forward. I'll take that. And you get a decent ankle rocker. So articulation on this guy is definitely fine. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It does most of what it's supposed to do. The head definitely could be better. Shoulders could be better. Lots of it could be better, but as far as Marvel Legends go, this one's one of the more versatile bodies, and I think that's okay. It suits the figure, suits the character well. The figure looks good. Overall, I'm happy with this release. I really love that translucent plastic. They nailed it. I think it's the perfect choice. It needed a little bit of airbrushing to bring it to life. You can airbrush translucent paint, and that would have been perfect for the flames, and even just to hit some hot spots. Like if you look, he has yellow throughout. Like his main core is the orangish red, but we have yellow shading, highlights all over. And this guy has none of that, so it takes away the look of the figure quite a bit. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it is still a good release. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 8 out of 10. It is strong, but it is held back by a few glaring missteps, which is a bummer, but I still recommend it. I think it's way more fun to own and better looking, and there's more value added in this figure than the Hasbro Pulse exclusive suited version. So this is the one I would recommend you get. It's easier to get and it looks better. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.